And welcome to Clappia. In this video, we will see how to change the format for the date and time shown in your Clappia apps. Let's take an example. Here I have created an incidents reporting app, and you can see the date and time blocks have been added with certain formats by default. Whenever I make a submission, like so, clicking on Submit, viewing submissions under the Submissions tab, the date and time format appear as such by default. Now, if you would like to change the format, you can do so by going to Workplace Details on the left panel. Click on Preferences, then click on Date or Time. On the right panel, you will be able to change the time zone, the date and time formats. So let's say I change the time zone from GMT plus 5:30 to maybe say GMT plus 4, which is Dubai's time. Change the date format to the third option and change the time format to 12 hours. Click on Save. Now let's see the changes. I'll go back to my dashboard and click on the app. You can now see that the format has changed for both the date and the time block. This will also reflect in your submissions. So I'll click on the Submissions tab and you can see the format has now changed for both. Now for the time zone, if in case your current location is not at the specific time zone configured and is not reflecting here, as you can see, for the time I submitted with the time zone, it should be 1.5 hours difference. That is because the submissions view takes in the details from the network. The configured time zone will be shown if you download your data or sync it with Google Sheets, or even if you have configured PDFs for your app. So let's say I download this particular data. By clicking on the download option, the data will then be downloaded in a CSV format. Over here for the created at column, you can see the time difference. The created at and the last updated at columns is automatically generated by the system and it takes in the time zone configured. Now let's see for configured PDFs. If you have configured PDFs for your app, you will be able to view it in the Submissions tab. Click on any submission and on the right hand panel at the top, you will get your print submission option. Over here, you can see the time is still not yet changed. So let's go to print settings. I'll go to the design app and then click on configuration. Then click on print settings. And here I have already configured a PDF as you saw a while ago. Now I have pulled the variable for the time field that is there in the app. Now if I were to change this and instead pull in the variable for the submitted time, click on the submission time variable. Now I'll save this. If you wish to know how to configure PDFs for your app, there is a separate video on that linked in the description. So do check it out. Now I'll go back to my Submissions tab and then click on the PDF option. You can now see in the print preview, the time has been changed according to the time zone. So in this way, you can change the time zone, the date and time formats for your Clappia apps in your workplace settings. Now there is another way to change the date and time formats apart from changing it in the workplace details. Let's have a look. In the design app, you can add a calculations and logic block to change the format of the date and time blocks. So I can add a field and click on calculations and logic. Now for example, I want a format for the date that is not listed in workplace details. So I can configure the calculations and logic block to do just that. First, I will simply change the label on the right panel. And in the formula option, you can implement logic and conditions similar to spreadsheet by pulling in the variables of the field. So I will give in a syntax for a different type of date format. So I will type in text and in brackets @date, comma, the date format. And then click on save. Let's see how this looks like in app home. So once I select the date, you can see the formatted date now gives me a different format of the date apart from workplace details. Similarly, I can give a different format for the time. So I will add another calculations and logic block. On the right hand panel, I will change the label and give the syntax under the formula option. So I will type in text, in brackets, pull the time field, so @time, comma, give the time format, which is hours and minutes, and click on save. Now let's see how this looks like in app home. I will input the time and you can see it has given me the formatted time. Additionally, if you would like to know how to give different formats for the date and time or various other calculations for it, you can visit our help guide article on the formula block. So in the Clappia website, head to Resources, click on Help Guide, search for the formula block in the search bar, click on Formula Block, and in this Help Guide article, scroll a bit to the bottom where you will get all supported formulae. Over here, you'll be able to input date and time fields. Once you do so, scroll a bit and open the section for date and time formula. Once you do so, you will get various syntax for the various types of calculations that you can perform for the date and time, even for formats. As you can see, the one I used is over here. If I go to the Submissions tab and check the same submission, since I've added the formatted date and time fields, you can see the other formats. If you have any queries on how to configure the date and time formats or any other feature in Clappia, you can always request support by clicking on the button over here, or you can email us directly to support@clappia.com and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.